Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality, and today I'm going to show you how I made these cute little travel tags for the travel junk journals that are up in my Etsy shop right now. They are some fun mini passport junk journals that I made with the Sizzix die by Eileen Hall called the Passport Journal Die. This tag I used a coffee stained note card, and then I added some vintage sheet music in the back that is in Italian, and a couple pieces of vintage map that I had, and then paper from the paper collection. This was from the paper collection. The collection is called Fly Me Away from Recollections, and it's a hot buy from Michael's. I think it is from last year, but I know they do have another version of it that's kind of similar for this year. So I will put the links for those down below if I can find them for you. To make these tags, I am using the Fly Me Away paper pad from Recollections. It was from Michael's in the hot buy section. This was from last year, but they do have a new one out now. I will try to put a link for that down below. I have glue, scissors, my cutting board, distress ink, and I need to get my distressing little tool. I have these two Recollections rubber stamps that say Adventure, and this one here, it says Welcome with a little airplane. I also have a piece of sari silk ribbon, a piece of jute twine, that's for the tie. I have this piece of Italian sheet music and a vintage map from Italy and Switzerland. I'm going to use both sides. I want to use part of the colored side and then a part of the more subtle color side there. And then the two pieces of the paper I'm going to use is this that has all the little cut aparts and tags. So I'm going to pick one of these tags to hang off there, and then I'll use this for the background. You'll need a note card. I have this, it's coffee stained. So why don't we get the stuff cleared off and get started with this project. To start off, I'm going to cut my music down. I'm just going to start by cutting off the top section here and evening out the sides. I'm going to, let's see, this is 6 inches wide, so I'm just going to cut this at 3 inches, and then we'll cut it down from there. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the top, and I think I'll just go ahead and cut this side off too. So that fits nicely on there, and it has a little bit of a border, and then there's the space up there too. So we'll start with that, and I'm going to go ahead and distress around all the edges. Now this is a vintage piece of sheet music, but I really love adding the distress ink to, and you can use any kind of ink. I've just used plain brown ink before the whole hype of the distress, because of course the distress ink is used for, you know, you can blend it and everything, but that's not what I'm doing here, so that's really not necessary. You can either put the lined on the back, or depending on what you want it for, picture or writing. So I'm just going to distress this as well. I will put links to everything down below if you desire to purchase anything, if you can't find it at your local store. So that will go there. The next thing I want to add here is a piece of this blue paper. It kind of has clouds on it, but really by the time you cover it up, you can't really tell. So I'm just going to cut it the width, or at least cut it off here with my paper cutter so it's straight. And then I want it about 2 inches. And then I'm going to tear it just so it gives it a rough edge. Go ahead and distress this as well. It's gonna go about there. Maybe on this one I'll go up instead of on this. I had it down below at the bottom. We'll see. And then I have this map, and I'm going to go ahead and cut off, pick a section. I've already cut from it. This is the Italy and Switzerland. I think I'll just cut a little strip off the side here. I like the pieces that have a lot of color, different colors. I'll just do that. Cut a little strip off here. I'm gonna have to cut this down with my scissors. And then I'll even it out with my paper cutter. I'll leave this because I like that piece there. I'm going to cut this at 1 inch, but I think I will cut off a little bit of this white along the edge. Just leave a little bit of that. And then cut this at 1 inch. Just be careful when you're cutting these old maps that you don't tear it. Sometimes the fragile paper will get stuck in the blade. Okay, so this is, I think, a 3x5 card. Yeah, so I'm just going to cut that at 5 inches. Cut it this way. All right. Distress that. So leave a comment down below what you have been doing this summer, where you've been traveling, if you've had the chance to travel. I haven't done a lot of traveling. If you watch my video from yesterday, my family and I had gone to San Francisco the beginning of this summer before my daughter started an internship, so she had time we could actually go, and that was a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down here. I kind of want some of the Italian words to show up there, so that on this side. I don't know, I'm stuck on the same layout. That's funny. Okay, so let's see. I want to use more of this neutral part of the map on the back here. So I'm going to cut this down. Let's see. And this I'm just going to rip all the way around. And I want it a little bit skinnier than this part because that's the part I'm going to mount it on. So go ahead and rip that. And just stress it. What has been your favorite vacation that you've had in your lifetime? I have never been out of the country, so I think if I had, that would be my favorite vacation. I think the only place I've been is Tijuana and Canada for like 4 hours. We went to the big mall up there, and I thought Canada was a very lovely country. So I don't know if I have any Canada fans. Shout out to Canada down below. So I want to stamp this adventure up at the top here. There. And then on top of this, I'm going to add the welcome with the airplane on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And now my original tags that I made, as you can see here, I sewed the music down, and then I sewed this down at the top, and I may still go ahead and do that later, but just for the sake of the video and to show you that you can make beautiful tags without actually sewing, I'm going to do it this way. So I like tacky glue, is my favorite. I go to tacky glue all the time. And when I use thinner paper, I spread it with my finger, and normally I do that with a lot of stuff because it just makes it adhere better. You get that full coverage. Let's see. Yeah, just a little tiny bit because I don't want it to get too warped here. And the trick to using the tacky glue, if you don't want it to warp, or any kind of liquid glue, actually water-based, I like to use it because it gets really hard when it dries, so like to make sturdy projects. But so it doesn't warp, you want to stick it under some heavy books and have it dry that way. So that's what I'll do with this since I'm not sewing it. And I know there are other glues that I could use, but I don't know. I've always been a tacky glue girl. Except for when I was scrapbooking. You know, if you're scrapbooking, it kind of warps a lot of the pictures. And when you're sticking it in a scrapbook album with page protectors, then it kind of holds it in. So I used more of the glue tape runners when I was doing a lot of scrapbooking. So, but for things like this, you really want it to stay on because it's going in a junk journal, so there isn't the protection of the page protector to keep it in case it should come unglued. I guess I'm doing it up here. Am I not? I'm gonna do it down below. All right, so there's that. And then I'm going to use I have a hole punch, and I forgot to tell you that. You can use a hole punch or a tiny attacher or a stapler or whatever. And I'm going to punch my hole up at the top here. I'm going to cut out one of these tags to add to the top. Let's see. Maybe this London tag? That would be cool, huh? The smaller part though, I don't need the whole thing there. Go ahead and distress this. Punch my hole. And then I'm going to tie this . Pull my Sorry silk ribbon through. Sorry about that noise, guys. It's our air conditioner. It's one of the window units. We live in a small condo, so it's kind of noisy, and I can't get around it because it's like 93 degrees here today, so I gotta leave it on or my husband is going to pass out from heat exhaustion. So I'm going to tie this up. I had a piece that's about 8 inches long and I cut it in half, and I'm just going to do a double knot around my ribbon. Like that. And if you wanted to, you could add like a vintage button or something like that, but I wanted this to stay kind of flat since it's going to be going inside of probably a tuck spot or a pocket or something like that, but it's totally up to you what you want to do with it. This will be great for adding a picture to or journaling on the back. So there's just endless ways you can alter your note cards, and I just thought it would be fun since I'm doing my travel books right now to make a fun travel tag. So I hope you liked this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, leave me a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality. Bye, God bless.